I am waiting while I'm going to give this a few minutes while everyone signs in. We have lots and lots of people. We will begin shortly, so just get comfy. Okay, about half of the people who reserved a spot have signed in. Yes, this is being recorded. You will get all of that information tomorrow morning, but yes, it's being recorded. And it's 7:01. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes until we're sure everybody is signed in and ready to listen. Oh, people from all across the country. This is great. Omaha, Katy, Texas, Brunswick, Maine, Vienna, Tacoma, Washington, University of Iowa, Philadelphia, Dayton, Ohio, Tampa, Florida. People are still signing in. I'm going to give them one more minute and then we will get underway. Someone in Maryland, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Toronto. Oh, that's so great. Okay. Okay, I think we are pretty full here, so let's get underway because we have a lot to do tonight. Hello to everyone in the aphasia community out there, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you joined us. This is going to be such a great evening. I am Darlene Williamson, and I'm the president of the National Aphasia Association. And that means that I am sitting as the president of the board of directors. I am a speech language pathologist, and I worked many, many years with people and families with aphasia. I think that all of us can agree that this has been the biggest and best year for aphasia awareness ever. There really has been an explosion throughout the year. So much attention from the media, so many news articles, so many questions from people who had never heard the word aphasia. One at a time, the NAA and all of you out there are educating the country and the world about what aphasia means. The National Aphasia Association sits in the bullseye of all of this activity, and we've done our very best to keep pace with all of the requests for information, the need to educate about aphasia. And in the midst of all this, We've made so many new friends, and our community has grown by leaps and bounds. We are breaking all records tonight. We anticipate there will be about 1,000 people joining us this evening, and I don't know of another event that has had so many advocates for aphasia gathered together in one evening. So we're very happy and proud about that and excited to bring you this program. The NAA began 35 years ago. We are celebrating our 35th anniversary. I'm sure you've all received information about that. Our organization was founded by a speech-language pathologist named Martha Taylor Sarno. You are going to hear a little presentation from her later. As a young, brand new graduate, she secured a job at the Rusk Institute at NYU in New York, and she was given the responsibility to work with the population of people in the hospital who had aphasia. And aphasia was not very well known then. We certainly didn't know what we know today. But Martha is a very brilliant and a very creative individual. And one of the first things she noticed was that when people with aphasia were able to meet someone else with aphasia, their face brightened up and it really made their day. She took great notice of that. And with that thought, she said, I feel like I must do something to create an organization where people with aphasia can connect. And here we are, 35 years later, and I'm sure all of you will agree with me that same feeling still exists. Aphasia can be isolating. You want to connect. You want to be around other people with aphasia. And now we have so many opportunities to do that. And each of you, I know, plays a role in teaching and advocating for people with aphasia. No one, in my opinion, has done more to educate and bring awareness than our special guest this evening, Gabby Giffords. Gabby grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and where she was elected to Congress in 2006, 2008, and 2010. She was known as an energetic and fair Congresswoman, a fighter for people's rights, and a champion at getting things done. I'm sitting in the Washington, D.C. area where I live, and I have a friend who happened to work in the office next to Congressman Giffords' office. And when I was talking to her about this evening, she said, oh, Congressman Giffords was the friendliest, the nicest, the kindest, and the hardest working congressman of all. And I believe that. I truly believe it. You all know the story that in January 2011, Gabby sustained an injury that changed her life. And it started her down a different road, the road to recovery, both physically and with her communication. She applied all of this personality, all of this energy, and all of that fighting spirit to her rehab, and the results are nothing short of stupendous. One significant individual on this road to recovery is Dr. Fabiane Hirsch, a speech-language pathologist who has worked intensively with Gabby. Fabi is the founder of the Friends of Aphasia Center in Tucson. She has over 25 years of experience working with people with aphasia. She is truly an expert. But even better than that, she has an aphasia heart. we're happy to have Fabi with us tonight, and she will be interviewing Gabby. So with no further ado, we will move on. I'm delighted to bring you both Congressman Gabby Giffords and Dr. Fabiane Hirsch, who will be on the screen talking to each other.
Hello.
Hello. Well, Darlene, thank you for that lovely introduction. But we are actually going to take it on ourselves too, again, to introduce ourselves. So I will turn it over to Gabby to start us off.
I'm from Tucson, Arizona. January 8th, 2011 changed my life forever. I was a congresswoman. I was shot in my head while meeting with my constituents. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I watched gun violence destroy too many lives. After the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School, I've said, enough is enough. We are on a mission to end gun violence. I'm starting a renovation for experience. We are on a mission to end gun violence.
Beautiful. Nicely done, Gabs. And I'm Fabiane Hirsch. I am a speech language pathologist, like Darlene said, over 30 years now. We were just talking about how old that makes me.
Oh, young.
And Gabby and I have been working together for 10 years. And about 5 years ago, we co-founded a nonprofit called Friends of Aphasia. And we have an aphasia center here in Tucson. We have in-person aphasia groups. Oh, we have our bracelets always. We have Zoom groups. We have some really tremendous programming, and we have the most wonderful community of folks who have aphasia. And I'm the luckiest person on earth. So we really appreciate this opportunity to join you all today. So to get us started, when we talk to groups, we usually start with a definition of aphasia. I gave this a lot of thought because I thought of any group we've spoken to, I'm guessing almost everyone, if not everyone here, is intimately tied to aphasia. But I do think it's still a good place to start, because sometimes just hearing a little bit of a different definition might resonate with you if you're living with aphasia, or might give you something to add when you define aphasia yourself. And since we're always trying to educate people, I think it's a good place to start. So I'll start. So aphasia is the loss or partial loss of the ability to use words to communicate. And we often just think about communicating as speaking, right? We speak to get our message across, but it also relies on understanding, so taking information in, and we can communicate on a page. So we write to get our message across, or we read to take a message in. So all of those areas, speaking, understanding, reading, and writing, can all be impacted by aphasia, and to differing degrees for different people. But one thing we're always very clear about is that it is difficulty with using language to communicate. It does not impact a person's thinking skills, their intelligence. I am surrounded by the smartest people I have ever met at the Aphasia Center, including this one. And aphasia has not taken that from them. So yeah, so that's my definition of aphasia, very clinical. Gabby, what does aphasia mean to you?
Aphasia really sucks.
I should add that to my definition.
The words are there in my brain. I just can't get them out. I love to talk. I'm Gabby, and I'm so quiet now.
Yeah. I thought that we could talk a little bit about therapy. Yay, favorite topic. So for me, with everyone I work with, therapy is very personal, very individualized. And one of the special things about working with Gabby is that personal piece has included working on speeches, because speeches were such an important part of your life before you were shot. And you were such a powerful speaker, and you were used to really changing lives, changing minds through your speeches. So to be able to be part of that and help you get back to the point where you're giving these just fabulous, powerful speeches has been really special to me. But what's therapy like for you?
A lot of homework, a lot of homework, a lot of homework.
Okay, in my defense, I do give a lot of homework, but you do even more than I give. So this is a very hard worker here, but I do give a lot of homework. And it's important. That continuous practice is so important. So you've made, Gabby, such remarkable gains in your ability to communicate. For any of you who have watched Gabby's documentary, you'll see sections early in her recovery where she gets stuck on a word, something we call perseveration. Remember the word, Gabby?
What?
So what was one of the words? But
Chicken.
that's the one that always
Chicken.
springs to mind. So you'll notice that in the documentary. Lot of chicken. A lot of chicken. And I think about that, you early on, you just had those two words, what and chicken, in a very scary time.
Yeah.
Just imagine trying to talk to Mark or your doctors, and every time you tried to communicate, only what or only chicken. Must be very frustrating. But you've made such remarkable improvement. And I think about what and chicken to giving your speech to the Democratic National Convention. Huge.
Yeah.
Are you optimistic about your continued recovery?
I'm optimistic. It will be a long, hard haul, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I'm also optimistic. Now we continue to see gains, and we're 12 years out. So I love that you are putting yourself out there, and people can see that if they were told that there was a 6-month window or a 12-month window or an 18-month window of recovery and then it stops, it's just simply not true. Yeah. And so I think people will see that and know that. So Gabby, there are certainly times though when things are difficult. What do you tell yourself when things are difficult?
Move ahead, to not look back.
Yeah. Yes. I think you have really good skill at that.
Yes.
Really focusing forward. That's important. All right. I know you're a very busy person. Do you want to share with everyone what your days look like?
I'm so busy. A lot of Zoom calls. Work. Yoga twice a week. French horn. Spanish lessons. Ride my bike. PBS and all over again.
You are so busy. It's really nice mix between a lot of work,
Yes,
and a lot of play,
yes.
which is good. Let's talk a little bit about Mark, your husband, Mark Kelly. He's certainly been a big part of your recovery. Can you tell us a little bit about your teamwork with Mark?
He is my best friend. He is so funny. I love him a lot.
He is very funny. I will attest to that. And again, the documentary does a really beautiful job of just capturing the dynamic between these two is just a delight. They tease each other. They're so sweet towards each other. It's such a love story to really get to see that. So it's been almost 12 years since you were injured. What have you learned from your experiences over the last 12 years?
To be grateful for friends and family, and to live every day to the fullest.
Yeah, because you just never know what could happen.
A bus.
You could. Wow. That went dark quickly. Yeah, I mean, something can happen in a moment, and just to make sure you're living every day, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. It's important. How do you maintain your very positive outlook?
I want to make the world a better place.
You are doing that. So not being able to say out loud everything you're thinking must just get super frustrating at times. Do you ever just want to give up?
No way, Jose. No way,
That
Jose.
doesn't surprise me. So would you say that your recovery is a process of discovering a new Gabby Giffords, or is it a fight to reclaim the old Gabby Giffords?
The new one. Better, stronger, tougher.
I don't know if she could get any tougher. I want to switch over a little bit and talk about the documentary. And again, really encourage folks to see it. I bought it, so when my family visits at Christmas, we're all going to watch it. So Gabby, why did you decide to cooperate with this documentary?
I love the film RBG. The directors, Betsy and Julie, do a wonderful job celebrating women's lives. Strong women get things done.
They do. I love that. What was it like being the subject of a documentary?
Amazing, amazing. COVID was hard. Masks, Zoom, no hugs, but the truth was fantastic. Visiting my mom, speech therapy, by bar mitzvah, writing my book, and a whole lot of singing,
Yeah, directors will talk a lot about how they had to really up their budget because with all Gabby's singing, they had to get the rights for all of those songs. So, and it was hard. COVID, we were in the hardest parts of COVID during filming, and you were a big hugger.
Yeah.
So I imagine that was really hard. So last question about the documentary, Gabby. What do you hope people will take away from your life story?
For me, it has been really important to move ahead, to not look back. I hope others are inspired to keep moving forward no matter what.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think they will be. Let me see it. So I wanted to wrap up, and Gabby's been working on a speech. It's a relatively new speech, and it seemed like a perfect chance to share it with you, a perfect audience. So I will say my thanks here for including me. The National Aphasia Association and all the work they do is very near and dear to my heart. I love the idea of having an aphasia heart. And I am going to turn it over though to Gabby to give the final remarks.
Our lives can change so quickly. Mine did when I was shot. But I never gave up hope. I chose to make a new start, to move ahead, to not look back. I'm relearning so many things, how to walk, how to talk, and I'm fighting to make the country safer. It can be so difficult. Losses hurt. Setbacks are hard, but I tell myself, move ahead. I'm finding joy in small things, riding my bike, playing the French horn, going to the gym, laughing with friends. The small things add up. We are living in challenging times, but we are up for the challenge. My own recovery has taken years. Many, many people have helped me along the way, and I learned so much. I learned when people care for each other and work together, progress is possible, a better world is possible. But change doesn't happen overnight, and we can't do it alone. Join me, let's move ahead together. Thank you very much.
That's beautiful, Gabby.
Stay on for a bit, for a minute, right? Oh, yeah, I'm off. Okay. Oh my gosh, I could feel the heads nodding and laughing and tears and so many comments in our chat box about Gabby is our hero. They love the documentary. And we have some people out there who want you back in Congress, Gabby. We want Gabby to represent us back in Congress. So that's excellent. Just to go back for a second and talk about how this documentary has reached so many people, and I don't care how many times you watch it, you take a lesson from it, you are emotional about it. And I also began the hour by saying that this is the 35th anniversary year for the National Aphasia Association. So in honor of that, the board of the National Aphasia Association decided to create the first annual advocacy award
Oh,
for people with aphasia. And we're going to see this on the screen. Here we are. And this year, and the award is called the Martha Taylor Sarno Advocacy Award, after our founder.
oh.
It was a unanimous decision of the board of directors that this year, the award will go to Gabby Giffords.
Yay!
And here she is looking tough. And unfortunately, the award did not arrive in time, but the next slide will show you a picture.
Ooh.
This is a piece that we had custom created for you, and the name of it is Invincible.
Invincible.
How about that? I love it. The figure is reaching up to the sky, and the sky is the limit for people that are invincible. And that's you, Gabby. So many people said, you're our hero. I think this has been extremely inspiring. And so let me tell the audience that next we are going to see a video message from our founder, Martha Taylor Sarno, who is alive and well in New York City and in her 90s and going strong. And so we're going to have a video with her message, and then Fabi will stay on and answer some questions. So here is Martha.
Good evening. As we come to the end of the 35th year since the founding of the National Aphasia Association, we feel tremendous pride for how far it has come in its accomplishments on behalf of people with aphasia, their service providers, and their communities. Its history is a remarkable story of how a dedicated group of persons with aphasia, their families, speech-language pathologists, physicians, rehabilitation teams, and colleagues brought not only health services, but the services and support needed to reduce the social isolation that prevails in the aphasia community. The idea of establishing a National Aphasia Association dedicated to the needs of people with aphasia began in the 1980s in a casual conversation I had with Dr. Don Olson, a speech-language pathologist, who was then Director of Medical Education at the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. Just a few weeks later, a group of enthusiastic colleagues met to discuss what steps were necessary to organize an aphasia association. In addition to myself and to Dr. Olson, the founding committee, which later became the executive board, consisted of the late Thomas Anderson, a physician in the Department of Rehabilitation Medicine at the University of Minnesota School of Medicine, Martin Albert, a neurologist physician at the Boston University School of Medicine, my research assistant, Dr. Antonia Ward, a speech-language pathologist whose father was aphasic, and Alan Bandler, a lawyer whose wife was aphasic, and who managed all of our legal needs in the founding committee. 2 people with aphasia were also included in addition as representatives of the aphasia population. Our goal of creating a national organization was loud and clear. We met regularly and enthusiastically at the Rusk Institute of Rehabilitation in New York City. And in a very short time, we succeeded in defining and shaping the strategies that were needed to reach our goal. Each of us felt strongly about the prospect of a national group dedicated to the needs of people with aphasia. We were engaged and we were excited, and our enthusiasm was evident and productive. And then in 1987, we succeeded in creating the National Aphasia Association. The NAA has demonstrated how helpful it is for families with aphasia to connect with each other. History shows that a small group of committed people, myself included, could never have imagined it would grow and mature to be the powerhouse that it is today. I wish the NAA continued growth and success, and may the aphasia community stay strong and continue working together. It is indeed a great pleasure and a privilege to present for the first time the Martha Taylor Sarno NAA Advocacy Award. This award intends to recognize an individual with aphasia who has demonstrated the will and ability to continue being active despite the challenging limits imposed by aphasia. I congratulate Gabby Giffords for her unremitting support, unremitting support, of others with aphasia, made possible by her warmth, her unyielding optimism, ability to deal with a tragic event, her courage, and her understanding, all of which have had a positive impact on the aphasia community. Her willingness to share her feelings and thoughts about the impact of aphasia on her life are invaluable.
Thank you, Martha. It's pretty special to be able to have your founder on a program like this, and I can personally attest to the fact that she is absolutely thrilled with what has happened to her organization and how it has grown and taken off in all of the wonderful ways that people are interconnecting in the world of aphasia. So we are going to continue our program and bring Fabi back on. I hope you're there, Fabi. Okay, there she is, yeah. And I do want to say to everyone that we had piles and piles and piles of questions come in. And so if you don't hear your question asked, I'm very sorry, but we're limited to what questions we can ask. So are you ready, Fabi?
I am. Are you able to change it over from Fabi and Gabby just to me? I feel like people might be disappointed.
We had a, I'm going to start with one that just came in. A student asked the question, did Gabby ever, how many people confuse your name, Fabi and Gabby?
Oh, it makes it so easy,
Right.
honestly. We always joke about it because I walk in and it's like, Gabby, and she's like, Fabi. It makes it really easy to remember my name, which is hard to remember. Rhymes with Gabby.
Okay, the question is, did you use any AAC, any kind of alternative communication with Gabby?
So we haven't used any sort of like dedicated augmentative device, but we certainly use augmentative modalities to help with word finding. For example, we focus on some activities that use gesture or writing or drawing to help get to words. So nothing as far as a dedicated device, although she uses her iPad extensively. So she has aphasia apps that she works on. She talked about all the homework she does. And she uses it for reading the newspaper so she can read and listen to it. So she uses a lot of supports and uses a lot of technology in those to accomplish those tasks, but not a dedicated AAC device.
Mhm. I think you and I know that technology in so many forms assists people. Someone else wrote in while Gabby was speaking, and I answered the question, but does Gabby use a script? Does she use scripting to practice her speech?
So early on, absolutely. We use a lot of scripting as part of learning speeches and practicing interviews. But Gabby practices to the point where she doesn't rely on the script anymore when she does interviews or when she does speeches. She puts so much time into them to devote them to memory and to practice them to the point where she feels very confident and very comfortable. And so I think more than maybe any other person giving speeches, she is just phenomenal at mastering and giving speeches because of the time and determination she puts into it, despite the aphasia.
And we know that the research tells us that with enough practicing of scripts, you do internalize it, and it does help in our spontaneous speech too. So I hope all of you out there know that scripting is a good technique to be used. So another question that just came into my mind based on your question to Gabby about, is she a new Gabby or is she trying to be the old Gabby? That was such an interesting question because so many people start out only with the goal of, I'm going to be who I was before whatever happened to me, however I acquired my aphasia. And many of the people that I've worked with have told me that that 2 years is kind of a turning point where you realize I need to accept a new me. So in your work, not only with Gabby, but generally, what do you see about people accepting a new, what we call the new normal?
I think the people with whom I work who have that mindset of, like Gabby said, moving forward and not looking back at what you were in the past, but establishing a new you, a stronger you, a tougher you. I think people who I have met who have that mindset certainly are more optimistic in their recovery and in just life in general. They tend to be able to really move forward. And I think we have I'm fortunate in that I'm surrounded at our Aphasia Center by people who are very motivated to work on their communication skills, but who also have that mindset of, hey, this is who I am now, and I am great, and I'm going to be even better. And I think that kind of mindset really does go far in helping people live their best lives.
I think that's such an important lesson to take from what Gabby said to us tonight. Look ahead, just keep going. Look forward, not backward. I think that's a motto that everyone with aphasia should think about. Can you talk a little bit about how you allowed Gabby to set some of her own goals and how you worked that into your treatment? So it wasn't you laying hands on, it was what input Gabby had.
Oh yeah, I don't determine any of the goals. They're all about Gabby. They're all whoever I'm working with. It's not my place to say, oh, you should really work on this. It's really important for each person to look at their own lives and their own priorities, their goals. What will help them re-engage most meaningfully in their communities? And so for Gabby, a big part of it, like we said, was working on speeches to give her that opportunity again to be that powerful public speaker. And for other people, they've had very different goals, and it's always directed by each individual I work with and what they want to accomplish and where their particular struggles are and where they see the movement forward to be most important to them.
Another important message from the evening for all of the people out there who are receiving services, that it's all about you. It's not about what your therapist wants. It's about what you want, and you have a right to demand that in your therapy. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's teamwork, but the goals are all established certainly by the person who is living with the aphasia and needs those communication skills in their everyday lives.
Someone just put in the chat box, they appreciated how you and Gabby laughed so much together. How humor is such an important thing. Anyone in the audience who knows me knows that I too worked in an aphasia center. And one of the things that I always said was the best thing about being there was hearing laughter. When just people teasing each other and picking on each other and laughing, and laughter is good medicine. So it was good to see that between you and Gabby.
Yeah. And Darlene, can I just add that that's one of the real values, I think, of aphasia groups. And I encourage anyone, if they are looking for groups, to really find resources in their areas, and the National Aphasia Association is a great resource for finding those. But when we come together in our groups, there is so much laughter, and we'll joke. I'll go into another room and I'll be like, hey, quiet down. We're trying to work over there. You guys are like laughing way too loudly. But in other environments in their lives, people can be really uncomfortable if they make a mistake or they're really struggling, whereas everyone gets it. So it's much easier, I think, to laugh and really enjoy each other's company when there isn't that sort of restriction, maybe, of feeling like you need to get the words right, or that sometimes there is a long pause that needs to happen before somebody can say something. So just a plug for groups, because that kind of camaraderie and the laughter is just really a wonderful part of recovery.
Yep. And I will say that when Dr. Sarno was recording her speech, and there was one word she tripped up on, and she was so upset with herself because she wanted to be perfect. And I said, you are speaking to an audience of people who make mistakes with words all the time. They're going to love that you had one little hiccup with a word there. And I'm sure everyone agrees with me on that. Let me ask you to speak to a couple of topics. One is in the recovery, can you speak to the role of exercise, physical exercise?
Yeah, do you want to talk specifically about Gabby or more generally? Because I can do both.
I think if anyone has seen the film, they see how hard Gabby worked. So start with Gabby, but you can
Sure.
talk too.
Yeah, well, I will start by saying that I do think that exercise is really important in the recovery of most people and can have such a positive impact at so many levels, from just mood to actually getting more oxygen to places that benefit. For Gabby specifically, she loves to ride her recumbent trike. She goes out pretty much every day. We recently rode in El Tour de Tucson, which is a national cycling event here, international cycling event here in Tucson, and we have a Friends of Aphasia team, our biggest team yet this year. And we rode 32 miles, which is the longest we've done as a team. But the training for that and just the everyday, I always find people here in Tucson who said, oh, Gabby rode by my house yesterday. She is out and about, and she stops and takes photos with folks. But exercise has been really important, specifically, finding something that she can, she's a real daredevil, I guess I could say. So she likes going fast. So to be able to find something, she used to race motorcycles. So now to be able to get on a recumbent and just go, I think really does a lot for her spirit, and certainly for her physically and emotionally and mentally. So, but she also does other things. She does yoga, and that's been a really important part of recovery. And she's just very active. So despite having the weakness, having the hemiplegia, she has certainly found ways to be incredibly active. And I think that is really important in her everyday life.
And you've given me a nice segue to say that on January 12th is our next Ask the Expert evening. And our guests that evening will be Deb Meyerson and her husband, Steve Zuckerman, who bicycled across the United States this summer to bring awareness to stroke and aphasia. And that will be January 12th. So everyone out there, mark your calendars for that night. That's going to be a fun night.
And Darlene, can I circle back on that? Because Deb and Steve actually came to Tucson and rode with Team Friends of Aphasia in El Tour de Tucson. So a really nice collaboration, just really fun.
Amazing that I followed their progress every single day. I wanted to join them myself, but couldn't. So, oh, that's super. Yeah. So now can you speak about diet and nutrition does it play any role in recovery?
I do think diet and nutrition are both really important. Gabby is a very healthy person. So I think that's certainly plays a role, and for others too. So, just anything that impacts your health, like healthy lifestyle types of things, the exercise, diet, really important.
Now, can we just talk for a minute about a topic that I think we don't talk enough about, and that is fatigue following a stroke, certainly a traumatic injury, and the fatigue that comes from challenging your brain to speak and use communication.
Yeah, I'll talk first about our aphasia groups. First of all, after a morning of aphasia groups, we are all exhausted, and I'm pretty sure most folks head home and take a little rest. I would like to. I know I'm exhausted. But I think being a really good self-advocate is critical. So if you're somebody who is living with aphasia, if you've had any kind of injury to your brain or any injury more generally, being able to let people know when you need a break, when you need a rest is really important, because people don't recognize just how much energy it takes to do things that didn't take as much energy before. And so to let people know, hey, I'm exhausted, and to also let people know that, maybe this isn't a good time to have very serious conversation. Let's put that off for later. But certainly I think that's where a person who has aphasia can really advocate for themselves. So important, but also for people around them to recognize that the need for increased rest is real. And for Gabby, she has a very busy schedule, but that her whole team is just so good at putting in time for her to rest and recuperate, because she is very busy.
One of the sayings that we always use at the Stroke Comeback Center was, never let your gas tank run dry. So don't let yourself run out of gas. When you get low on energy and you feel it and you're struggling, take a nap. Even just going somewhere quiet, closing your eyes, doing what relaxes you. If you were someone, and I'm sure Gabby was, you just push on regardless. You push at 100% at that pace. And you need to be kind to yourself and allow yourself that I am running out of gas. I've just got to stop right here and fill my tank before I crash. So I just feel that's a really important message. Okay, 2 more questions. One, filming the documentary, was it fun? Did you have a good time doing that?
So for me, it was all, just therapy, the therapy that we were doing anyway. And I think maybe the first day or two is a little nerve-wracking, knowing we were all on Zoom at that point. It was during the height of COVID. So knowing that we were being recorded is a little nerve-wracking. I don't put on makeup or anything. So I think within the first 2 or 3 sessions, though, completely forgot. And we were back to our usual sessions. But you never know what's going to come up on the screen. So watching the documentary the first time was a little nerve-wracking.
These filmmakers did such a beautiful job. Just the feedback from watching the film, and you will see this in the chat box, the people who love the film. And we've constantly reiterated that both in all of our messaging. So last question. You are an expert in aphasia. You have helped Gabby down this path to recovery. But what did Gabby teach you in this process?
I would say I have probably learned more from Gabby than I have taught. Certainly, I have learned to be more brave. Not physically, I'm still not jumping out of planes or, speeding down hills on my bike. But as an example, even for me, when I need to make phone calls, I get nervous. I have to relax and get ready. And then I think about Gabby. I'm like, hey, do you want to learn this 5-page speech and give it to hundreds of thousands of people at the Democratic National Convention? She's like, yeah, let's go. So for me to see my own little insecurities and know that I can be brave too. And so that has been definitely something that I have learned to appreciate more and to incorporate into my own life. And I think just compassion, and not compassion towards Gabby, but to learn compassion towards really everybody and anyone I meet. If you're with Gabby and you go to an event or anywhere really, she will find you. She will talk to everyone there, even if it's a struggle to say what she wants to say, not knowing exactly if the right word is going to come out. She will hug you. Her hugs are just life affirming. And from that, I've really learned how that embrace, that compassion really changes people's lives. And I think that's a big reason why everyone is so drawn to her. She really does change people's lives just in the way that she has so much compassion towards each and every person she meets.
Well, her ability to put herself out there in this documentary is certainly changing lives and changing the world of aphasia. I know tonight was enormously meaningful to people. Thank you so much, my friend, for being with us tonight and bringing Gabby. Congratulations again to her for this. When the award arrives, will you take a picture? And
absolutely.
So we can, you know what, it takes a bit of time to get a custom piece done like that. And so thank you to the audience for being with us tonight. This is a wonderful celebration of what's possible and living successfully with aphasia. Please visit us at our website, aphasia.org. Sign up for our newsletter. And the other announcement is we are having another night of aphasia arts on March 7th. So mark your calendars for that. That was a fun evening. And we're going to repeat it and make it better. And so thank you again for being here. Give Gabby a hug, a big collective hug from the aphasia community. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you, and we'll see you in January. Take care. Bye-bye.